they'll bring you in and you can put your hands in the sandblaster and actually etch things while you're there.
That's so cool.
You can't do
I'll be doing that.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with that process, you can literally learn how to do it right then and there.
And welcome back to the Riley Black Project. Crystal and John.
Hey.
What's up?
Oh, you know, things
and stuff.
Yeah, we'll talk about details and life.
What's
update.
Friday? It's Friday. Friday. Yeah. Happy New Year, guys.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
I just had to make sure that this was out for everybody during New Year's, and it's the first episode of it's the first episode of the year.
It is
192.
Well, if you're a patron.
No,
or not,
this is because New Year's is Tuesday and
to episode 200, which is
that's crazy. That's crazy. So this, since it's the first one of the year, we had to mix everything up.
We did.
Our guest had a time constraint.
Yes.
So we had to record that first, and now we're recording this.
Right.
But for you, it's going to run seamlessly.
Yeah.
Because of movie magic.
Right.
Today's sponsor
is Katie, of course, with Monarch Pine. So if you're looking for jewelry findings, or laser blanks, check her out. Use code Riley Black, or if you're a patron, go to the Patreon or our private Facebook group and grab your exclusive code that's a little bit bigger. But code Riley Black gets you 10% off monarchpine.etsy.com.
That's right. And since it's the first one of the year, that means it's the first of the month. Which means it's time to give a shout out to our patrons.
Yes.
And who are our patrons?
All right, and it's time for our shout-outs. We got Megan Raymond, Kim and Garrett Make It, Jesse, Debbie Dean, Michelle with Edwards Farm Decor, Toby with Cuddle.xyz, Keith, Christina M, Melody P, Jen with Laser Last Design Co., Candy with Turtle to Go Creations, Lori G, Sheila with Science Inspirations LLC, Natalie C, Hannah B, Kevin with Sludge Epoxy, Daniel with Alive Pixel Creates, Danny M, Stephanie E, Catherine with Primary Market, Bree with The Burn Shack, Aaron with Aaron's Acrylic Animals, Christy C, Jess with Jersey Girl Sign Shop, Jillian B, Allison with Black River Arts, Trisha with Mama 6 Creations, Rexy with Spreading Stardust, Heather Lynn with Loba Designs, Liz with The Laser Outpost, Superfan Brandy, Victor with Excited Adam, Katie with Monarch Pine, Lisa, David with Creative Cut Supplies, Stephanie Long, Barbie C, Madison B, Emily, also known as That Mom with the Laser, Mark with Big Blue Laser Designs, Kathy Ray, The Testing Queen, MJ with Craft and Carry Customs, Ryan with Sprouts Creations, and last but not least, Will with Crazy Laser Dad.
And if that looked a little awkward, that's because that was also pre-recorded.
Yes. Well, and we're trying something new. So we have a good and bad problem, right?
Yes.
We have so many patrons now,
right?
And especially patrons at that shout out level,
right,
that we need to. So previously, a little behind the scenes of it,
behind the curtain,
kind of, we would read those names before we even introduced our guest.
Yeah.
And so our guest is sitting there, kind of waiting for our introduction as we're reading this very long list of names.
They're hanging out in the green room.
So we're trying to adjust that a little bit, still give everyone their very deserved shout out.
Yes.
But recording it kind of in a little makeshift way where, you know, our guest isn't wading through all of these names, but they still get that shout out and that mention at the top of the episode, because we just appreciate you guys so much. We honestly wouldn't be doing this. We wouldn't have gone to almost 200 episodes if it wasn't for the fact that you guys keep listening for some reason.
And we thank you for keep listening and
we
continue to
appreciate
listen.
You, yes.
And supporting. We got new merch.
We do have new merch. I'm so excited.
Yep.
So excited.
So go to the website.
Yes.
Is that on?
It's on the website. It's live. If you are a patron, you have some time. If you are general admission, this airs on the 6th, and that pre-order for the new merch with our new logo closes on the 8th. And I'm a little bit like loose with that deadline, but I'm not this year because, for one, I'm trying to be better about sticking to deadlines and stuff. And for two, because I want those shirts to come back before we go to APA so that we can wear our new logo.
That's
right. So you're not going to stop me getting my shirts on time. And I'm not going to stop me either by continually extending it.
That's right.
So, check out the merch. It's obvious there's a little bit of markup. I mean, it's literally $5 to, I think, maybe $8 Max. We did a little bit of a different design this year too, with any of the merch that has sleeves. So the drop shoulder, the pullover hoodie, and the zip hoodie, it will have the logo. The zip hoodie has a logo on the back, but the rest have the logo on the front, the new simplified logo. And then we got fancy and put the Riley Black Project down the arm. So I'm excited about that little new addition. I saw that somewhere and I was like, ooh, I really like that. And I wanted to put something new and fresh out. Yes, our logo's new, but I wanted to keep things fun and
for sure.
So check that out and go run and get some merch. Wear the hottest gear to this year's conferences,
right?
And support your favorite laser podcast.
So, as you guys know, we are going to APA. We are going to have a booth.
Yes.
We are going to be recording our podcast live there.
Yes.
It's really exciting.
It's our first year. It'll be our first conference that we have a table at that isn't next level.
Right. That is the next level. Yeah. And our guest, so APA has been, I have it written down here. APA has been supporting personalization industry for over 60 years, since 1964.
Damn.
That's a long time.
It's almost as old as our parents.
Yeah. I don't think he's been with APA the whole time. But welcome.
APA's old.
Yeah. Welcome to the show, Wilson. How's it going?
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. No, I have not been involved with this since 1964. My business here started in 1960 as well, but I wasn't here for that either.
Oh, okay, nice.
So, thanks for having us. We're excited to share what APA is about and what's going on in Las Vegas in February. So,
of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're super excited to go and to experience the whole thing.
And to be their first podcasters, I believe.
Yeah, we were. I think we weren't on the fence about going to the one last February.
Yeah, so we wanted to just attend.
Right, exactly.
But there was just so much going on last year.
It was hard for our schedule to.
So we weren't able to attend, but I definitely did have FOMO because a few of our friends and stuff were going or presenting and stuff. Right. And then after the success of Next Level, we wanted to look for more shows and stuff to expand, just our network and that kind of stuff. And then
get a chance to meet our fans/friends. As well.
And so, I'd heard about APA, from the last year prior, and I was just really interested in, what they had to offer. So I guess tell us a little bit about the history of APA and what its purpose is for those makers. The Riley Black Project is sponsored by Cuddle.xyz.
Cuddle lets you instantly generate personalized SVGs. Just type in the name, choose your options, and click download SVG. It's that simple.
I make tons of keychains and small items that require welding, node editing, connecting dots on the eyes, and the most tedious step, adding score lines. But with Cuddle, you just type the names and you're done.
Just go to the website, cuddle.xyz.
And use our coupon code RileyBlack for 10% off your first month or year.
Hey there, podcast listeners. How great would it feel if this was the year you finally got to escape your 9-to-5 to embrace your lifestyle of creativity and entrepreneurship?
Every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, Eon Laser USA invites you to join the Freedom to Create webinar, where you'll learn how to make this a reality.
Join leading laser industry professional and brand ambassador Emily, aka That Mom with a Laser, and Eon Laser USA's sales manager Alicia as they dive into all things Eon.
Learn about the advantages of owning an Eon Laser and get the scoop on Eon's rewards and partner benefits. Plus, get a glimpse at how everyday people who started out with zero experience paid off their lasers, scaled their businesses, and transformed their lifestyles.
So if you're ready for a lifestyle change, head over to eonlaser.us/whyus and sign up for the Freedom to Create webinar today.
Thanks for listening. Laser on.
Okay. Well, obviously, you'll mention that it started in 1964, and it started off as an industry that way back when it allowed the awards industry and the makers of awards to sell their product to retailers like me. For example, I run a business in Nashville, Tennessee that specializes in laser engraving and other types of engraving, sandblasting, and all of that. But we
Nice.
are primarily in the awards lane.
Mm-hmm.
And so way back when, the vendors used to sell directly, it was the one time of the year that you could go and see product, equipment, and things like that.
Nice in person, yeah.
Correct. In person there.
Right.
And so back, it's gone through some different name changes, but years ago, it went from the ARA to the APA, and the P being personalization.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what we are now. It's the maker portion of our business is awards and the personalization portion.
Right.
And so we buy, for example, in when the Tulsa event took place with the Next Level Laser Conference, I was there, and the crossover is we're buying from the same equipment company,
Right.
and the same suppliers are.
Yep.
There's crossover there, and that's the commonality of where the two industries kind of overlap.
Right.
There is a wealth of information out there that you can glean and learn by attending these larger conferences.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got, I think on board right now, we've got 79 different vendors that are going to be at the Horseshoe Convention Space in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a wonderful Tuesday through Friday of sharing and growing and learning together.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that's interesting about our industry is we attend the trade show essentially with our competitors, especially from a retailer's
right.
But when you get into the learning sessions, or you go to the learning lounge, or you walk the trade show floor, you may be talking with someone that runs a retail space in California or Puerto Rico or Germany. And they may have a best practice that you've never even thought of, but they're willing to share that with you right then and there.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can meet a vendor and be in their booth talking to them about their product, and you or one of your coworkers may be standing there and may have a question, and the vendor will literally turn and catch somebody walking down the aisle that they know from another experience and say, hey, I remember, a couple years ago, you dealt with the same, get in here and tell Wilson about this.
Yep.
And when I first started attending it, the company, the way that I got introduced to it is not the typical way. My father-in-law passed away, and I happened to be here at the company, and my mother-in-law, who is not even in this industry, said, hey, there's some type of trade show for the industry that you need to find out about.
Yeah.
And she said, and my mother-in-law remembered and said, it's somewhere between January and March, and it's in Las Vegas. I don't know the name of it.
Right.
Go find it.
Yeah.
And, so I scurried around, and this was in October of 2010.
Wow.
And I found out that the conference was going to take place in February or March of that coming year.
Yeah.
And I have been to every one since 2011. And I would not miss it.
That's crazy.
That's
and has it always been in Vegas? As far as you know?
Historically, it has been. I think the people that have been around longer than I have will say, it probably floated around here.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think it used to be at some point, maybe a portion of it was in Atlanta, maybe a portion of it was in Chicago, maybe.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's called the Las Vegas Expo.
Okay.
Okay. Nice.
Cool.
I love it. I mean, we met in Vegas and then got married in Vegas 2 years later. So Vegas has a special place in our heart.
Yeah.
We finally went back for the first time since we got married 10 years ago this year. And they actually tore down our venue.
The Tropicana.
Before we got a month before we got there, so that was a
Yeah.
nice anniversary gift.
We were able to see it, which was
Yeah.
nice.
But it's always nice. It has a special place in our heart. So
Yeah.
we're excited to go back there.
Yeah.
But for work this time, so that's kind of cool.
And this is we were told this is like the first year that it's like expanded a little bit into like our community. This is the first.
Right.
This is the first year that the two communities kind of blend together, right?
It's the first time that there's been an intentional focus to spread it.
Cross-pollinate, yeah.
Correct. Because if you think back when I walked into the vendor floor at Next Level, one of there were two companies that I walked up to without even wearing a name tag, and I went in and said, "Hey." And they kind of looked at me and were like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, well, "What are you doing here?" And we were just like, "Hey, I'm coming out here to see what this is all about."
Yeah.
And one of the
just
vendors,
makes sense.
Yeah, one of the vendors is PDS Equipment, and it's right.
Oh,
there.
right. Yeah, they're in Tennessee as well. Yeah.
Well, they're like on this just off the street.
Oh, nice.
Where I am. And then the other one was Randy at Epilogue. And
nice. Yeah, we met him.
Yeah.
They had been, both PDS and Epilogue have been huge supporters of the APA over the years.
Right.
And, it was great to see the products that were there on the floor. And that's what our industry, that's what's so unique about it. You can be a maker and buy the same product, same substrates that we're buying. We're using them for maybe a little bit different reason than what y'all are doing, or what some of Mark or Will's customers are buying. It's the same product.
Right. Just used like, differently.
Maybe even as far as just on a different scale too, because it's a little smaller.
Well, and then so my first, I guess, exposure to it was, I'm not sure if it happened kind of simultaneously, but so we had what's his name, Braden with GS2.
Yes.
So we had, and he started very much so also in the awards side.
Correct.
And then he started to also kind of go into the laser side as well. But I saw him attend, and my friend Stephanie attended as well with Braden. Stephanie from the Country Porch Swing. And then I'm not sure if it was the same year that I also noticed that Samita and Anuj ended up presenting there as well. And I was like, oh, okay, like, what's this? Because so we had, we have been a part of Next Level, since it started, when it was just a couple hundred people in its first year. And then we were also we attended the ISA Sign Expo in Orlando. We had joined with Eon and kind of just, tagged along with them and saw what that was about. And even though, we don't personally do signs, there was still a ton of crossover even there, because I always say the good and bad thing about lasers is that you can literally do, an endless amount of things. So the laser world crosses over into so many different industries, awards, signs, and a million other things, and they all kind of like do a little bit of overlapping and mixing, depending on what you're looking at, materials, vendors, that kind of stuff.
Case in point, with it being Christmas, just, last week, 2 weeks before, there's a very quaint little town south of where I live in Franklin, Tennessee, and they have a very large Christmas, like a
Christmas show,
Christmas show that's on the streets of downtown Franklin.
Oh,
and,
nice.
It's called a Dickens of a Christmas, and a lot of the people dress up in the old English garb, and even the police officers wear their costumes, old police. And you walk down, and there you can go through the different, on both sides of the street, and see people selling artwork and leather goods and clothing and different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing how many of the folks are either selling charcuterie boards or signs that are, and I will approach most of them and say, where are you buying your wood samples from? Where are you buying your blanks from? And a lot of times they're folks that you and I buy our product from.
Right.
And their niche is just smaller and very focused on certain things.
Yeah.
And we're buying more plaques versus some of the other things, because our business, I'm not as much focused on the gift market as we are the award side.
Right.
And
is your side more like B2B as well?
We are. We still have a large percentage that's still B2C. We've got customers coming in, but for the majority of what we do, we specialize, at least this is just for my company.
Your personal,
We do a lot with the insurance markets, the healthcare markets,
nice.
Government, city, county government. And we do a lot of annual recognition.
Attention all laser owners and crafters. Are you tired of spending hours cutting, painting, and assembling laser products? Look no further than Crazy Laser Dad Laser Ready Blanks.
Their high-quality blanks are expertly sourced, tested, and ready to use with your lasers. Say goodbye to the hassle and frustration of time-consuming projects and hello to more time creating and selling.
Plus, with their wide selection of items, you'll surely find the perfect blank for all your customers.
So, what are you waiting for? Visit crazylaserdad.com today and take your laser crafting to the next level with their laser-ready blanks.
Welcome to the revolution in laser engraving. Introducing Lens Digital, the creators of the game-changing Pyburn rotary attachment. With the Pyburn 4.0, you can turn ordinary cups, tumblers, glasses, and more into extraordinary masterpieces.
Looking to engrave niche items or want the functionality of a Chuck rotary? Look no further than the Pyburn Grip, Lens Digital's Chuck-style rotary. With a range of different sized jaws, you can easily engrave a wide variety of items. All Lens Digital products are compatible with most CO2 and Galvo lasers and were designed specifically for the laser industry. All that, paired with the best-in-class customer support, Lens Digital is your one-stop shop for all of your rotary needs.
Transform your laser engraving game with Lens Digital, where makers succeed. Unleash your creativity today.
And don't forget, we are proud Lens Digital affiliates as well. If you're shopping, code Riley Black will take $50 off any order of $600 or more. We've all gotten those when we were in the corporate world.
Yep.
We've all gotten the personalized awards, and I always wondered like how they were made before I knew anything about you know, lasers or that industry at all. And it was so funny where I had left corporate about 6 or 7 years ago, but he was still working for the news, and he got like a milestone like gift of like however many years or something. And of course I'm looking at it and then analyzing it from all angles, like what laser did that, you know, where did they get their blanks? You know.
That's right.
But it's the awards, and Mark touches on this a lot as well with his files and the work that he does. The awards industry is huge. If you can get into it with local businesses or local schools or anything like that, it's recurring revenue. You know, the companies love to give out those recognition awards and the yearly awards and those kind of things. It helps morale. You know, it's just part of corporate business typically, and excuse me, it can be a great recurring revenue for people who are looking for that and enjoy making that. And to me, I mean, yes, if they want like a super fancy award, maybe not, but like most of the time they give you all the information and you just plug it in and actually burn it onto the blank that you've purchased. So it's not too much designing as long as they don't want something.
Maybe tweaking the design to make it work better for whatever medium you're using.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What can we, so this is going to be our first APA. What can we like expect going into it? Like what are there going to be like the to-dos and stuff?
All right. So on Tuesday, the convention runs from Tuesday morning, or the convention time is from Tuesday morning to Friday afternoon.
Okay.
And Tuesday is all about education.
Okay.
And behind the scenes, the vendors are setting up in the
Yes.
expo area. And then
Okay, got it.
in the other part of the convention space, we have speakers that come in. Some are industry specific folks that do exactly what I do, or
Yeah.
do what you do, or
Right.
vendors that have a particular expertise in a certain type of design program or
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Right.
And all day Tuesday, I think they're about typically an hour and a half long. We've got different segments that talk on marketing, that talk on production, that talk on, sometimes it's legal topics, sometimes it's design specific topics. Yeah. And we try to have a myriad of programming going on, so all of your marketing is not held at the same time. So you can pop in and hear one course on marketing, and then there may be one later in the day that you can go into, where you can, if you want to continue to expand in one certain area, you can do that throughout the day. The other thing that happens in the APA, we've got a certification program that you can, if you've been a longtime member, you can sit in those courses and you can actually turn that in for credit towards a CRS or a CRM certification.
Nice.
Those take a long time to achieve, but those courses add up over the years.
Nice.
The other thing that you can do is, at least from a business standpoint, you can buy the session recordings, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
And after each one, just like this podcast is recorded, at the end of our convention, those sessions are put together, and then you can buy the whole package. And so I've got production engravers here in my office that if there was a particular segment on engraving that I want them to listen to, I can share that file with them, and then do audio recording of that whole file.
Nice.
But that's typically on Tuesday. And then Wednesday mornings and Thursday mornings, before the trade show floor opens, there are also education segments that go on. Then on Wednesday, it typically around, I think it's 10 or 11 or 12, the show floor opens, and then you walk in there and you get to see, if y'all thought Next Level Laser was large, this is on a different scale.
Yeah, I told him we have a 10 by 20 booth, and I was like, we got to figure out how we're going to make that look. And he goes, 10 by 20. And I was like,
at first I was like, oh, okay. And then I was thinking about it, like, wait a minute. Because we are in the process of shopping for another space for the podcast, a bigger space, basically another shed in our backyard. And I was like, wait, 10 by 20, that's what we're looking for the podcast. I'm like, that's a big space for like a table and stuff. So yeah, we'll have like a mock little studio there too.
So what I typically do is I get there, I do the education, and then when the trade show floor opens, this is just me, because I want to get a lay of the land. I will typically walk the show floor just real quickly to kind of see where everything is. And get to kind of know the orientation. And there's typically an app, or there's a handout that shows where everything is, what avenues or where everything is in the trade show floor. And then go back later in the day and start actually working the show floor in a systematic fashion, where I can go through and see who, what's new.
See your friends, check out the new stuff. Yeah.
Correct. And then one of the days we typically have in the afternoon section, we have kind of a meet and greet on the show floor.
Nice.
Okay.
And, it's a neat way to build the community. Y'all have got a community with your podcast.
Right.
Next Level has a community with their followers and things like that. And the APA, we've got that same type of community, but you get to meet with the vendors, you get to meet with your, fellow friends from whether it be across the country or in Canada or Europe or wherever. and you get to have a beer with them and talk. And then the unique thing about what we do is there may be a product that or a piece of equipment or technology that you use that you couldn't imagine doing life without in your
Right.
work, and you may not know about it. And a person in your that's competing with you in a different region will say, "Hey, you need to go back and look at that booth. They've got something that really could help move the needle on your business."
Right.
And whether that be a new labeling program or a new art program. Like, for
Right.
example, I don't know anything about Lightburn
Right.
at all.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm going to get to learn about it because they'll be there. You know, that kind
Right.
of thing.
Yeah.
And mainly from the equipment standpoint is people are willing to share and you build relationships. And I can
Right.
remember, I told you earlier that the very first year that I went was in 2011. I didn't even know where the trade show floor was. And so I walked in and kind of dipped my toe in it and was trying to figure out, okay, well, that's where we get that product from, or that's where
Yeah.
we get that laminate from. That's where we get, that's where we get that piece of equipment. I never knew that. That's where we get that tape, all that. And then the next year you build on it. And then you say, oh, okay, that's the guy that answered that question for me, or
Right.
gentleman over here.
Yeah.
Very, very forthcoming with information on
Right.
best practices on
Yep.
how to use a laser. And that's why I keep going back. It's
Right.
the trade show is great. The education is great. But the part that really helps me is the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
For sure.
you can't replicate that anywhere else than
Right.
at the trade show.
Yeah, what we're looking forward to most is, so the next level is more like that's very niche down specific to our customers, our listeners, that's our community, right? But this is that overlap and the part of the other side of the community that may not know us or know us as well yet. They may not even know that they're of our podcast. They may not even know how the keychain thingies can change your life if you make keychains, that kind of stuff. So I'm mostly looking forward to that networking aspect of getting out there and meeting new people. And then people, yes, I want to be that connection for them for something that will help them either with the podcast or, the things that we sell. But also, we've met people at these kinds of shows that are like, oh, I'm going to contact you for, this and that machine or program or whatever. We've made relationships with other vendors. We've had vendors who are now some of our wholesalers because we met them at the shows and they're like, oh, your keychain thingies is a perfect addition to what we already sell, and then we collab on that as well. So I'm really looking forward to expanding on that because, again, there's still people I'm sure who don't know us or don't know us as well in the next level community, but even more so here, just we get to, hopefully meet even more people and make, new connections that will hopefully last a long time.
Well, that's exactly right. And you said that very well. And I listened to a couple of y'all's podcasts before over the past couple of weeks. And I chuckled when I heard Will Louie talking about what his goal what his word was in 2024, which was pivot, which our entire industry learned that word in 2020.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And I will tell you this, and I'm not being facetious. If it had not been for the relationships that I had built through the APA, my business would not be here in 2024.
Yeah.
If it had not been for those relationships and helping all of us figure out how to navigate. I've got friends all across the country that I know only because of my relationship with the APA that helped us learn how to pivot.
Right.
And his word for 2025 is going to be the word focus.
Yeah.
And then he talked about 4 points that he focuses on. And it was service, being faster, building relationships, and building relationships that are customers for life.
Yes.
All 4 of those, when you drill down to what is important about the APA, those are the key tenets of what the APA is about.
Nice.
The APA, quite frankly, isn't selling a product.
Right.
Right.
It's selling
The community.
a community. It's selling education. It's
Yep.
selling encouragement
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
relationships that can help you move the needle from here to there.
Right.
And they talk about the word behind the meaning behind next level. Next level, it's moving the needle on all of that.
Right.
Right.
And that's what makes the APA so important and such a passionate relationship. If you
Right.
will get the time, I'll be honest, if you're a type of person that you think you've got it all figured out and
You're
your
not gonna
way is
get
the
much.
best way and all of that kind of stuff,
Right.
you're going to walk in there and probably not be moved.
Right.
But if you will walk into the
Open.
trade show floor, go to the education, ask questions of the vendors, ask
Yep.
questions, spend time, because we've got education that is, you receive the information. And then we also
Right.
have sessions that are hands-on where
Right.
you can go, we do those.
Try something out.
You can try something that maybe you've not learned how to do.
Yeah.
For example,
I think
maybe
it was actually at APA. Was it APA that Stephanie was trying out sandblasting, I think, for the first time? Yeah.
like
that was
sandblasting
so
and color
interesting.
fill.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do the multi-stage color fill, and they're folks that they're vendors, two very, very reputable vendors that can show you how to do that. And you may not have ever, I mean, you could hear that in theory, but when you go to one of the hands-on education learning sessions and actually take the bottle, the wine bottle,
Yep.
and go through all of that whole process, that's transformational.
For sure.
Right.
That's the thing that really helps. If you walk in there and you start asking and you want to learn,
Yeah.
that's the best way to do it.
Yeah. Even for our product, I'm surprised how much not instruction it needs, but so what we realized that next level was, keychain thing is just seeing them. I thought that to me, they're kind of obvious, but I'm biased because I've been working with them for several years,
Yeah.
So I was surprised how many people didn't really understand, one, what they were by just seeing them and the name. But two, when people saw them in action, again, we had keychains set up that they could build with the keychain thingies, the split ring, the little plastic piece, and a laser engraved keychain, and had them put it together. And they were like, oh, and you would see the light bulbs go off, that's difficult to convey over, in Facebook groups, Instagram, whatever. Sure, doing more videos where I'm maybe assembling keychains that can do the same thing, but going in person, it's so much different. Online is powerful, right?
Yeah.
But there's always going to be that little bit of a disconnect that seeing all these things in person, either again in a class or on the trade show floor, touching and feeling some of the material and maybe you grab an award and you feel how substantial it is and how much weight it is, or you see, Braden's pre-finished plywood and you're like, oh, this is nice. I hadn't really considered it, from the pictures or, whatever. So just things like that really do make the difference for the people who may have heard about it, but didn't really understand, the value or how it worked. And it just kind of fills that gap, and just exposes you to something new that may not have crossed your path, because of the way your algorithm is set up, or, who knows what.
That's right. And also the product, you physically can walk the show floor and you can pick up and touch all the different parts of it. You can see substrates. You can see processes. A lot of the laser engraving companies will actually be running product right there in their booth.
Right. Seeing things in action. Yeah.
The sandblast companies, they'll bring you in and you can put your hands in the sandblaster and actually etch things while you're there.
That's so cool.
You can't do
I'll be
that.
doing that.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with that process, you can literally learn how to do it right then and there, and buy the equipment, buy the supplies, and ship it all directly back to your home,
back to home,
and start using it.
Yeah.
Great. Well, Wilson, we know you have to run. You have a meeting coming up here quickly. Really quick, there is a discount.
The code, right? Do you have it?
Yep, I have the code here set up. It is Riley Black Project. Anyone who uses this code will get access to the show floor, and all general. Sorry, I just got contacts. And I'm still like the reading part.
Adjusting.
The reading. General education sessions for $99.
Nice.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's promo code Riley Black Project.
And then is the website on there too? Where do they go to?
Yes.
Should be right above it.
Let's see. Yep. Website is personalizationpros.org. Right? Personalization.
Pros with an S.org.
Pros.
Yep.
Okay.
And then when you go through the shop cart, there's a and where it'll ask you for the coupon code, just put in Riley Black Project, all one word in there. And then that will reveal the discount that they can, and that's a per person discount.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
And then that gets them access to the educational and the trade show, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It doesn't give them the hands-on, because the hands-on,
right? Okay.
because of the supplies and all of that.
Yeah, they need to know.
Pay a fee for that.
Okay, cool.
But all the education that I mentioned that's on Tuesday, you would get access to.
And we are recording our podcast live. We're doing a live recording on that Thursday afternoon, I believe, at 2 or 3, I forget. I think it's 2 to 3.
It is.
On Thursday. Cool.
Correct. 2 to 3.
Is there any other talking points that you wanted to talk about before you go off, or do you think we covered all the key stuff?
Y'all got a pretty good idea of what's going on. Y'all are going to be part of what's called the Learning Lounge. So throughout the trade show time, there are different little, it's typically in one area of the trade show floor, but it's a quieter area where you can go over, and there will be an expert on a topic, and they will talk to the folks in attendance there in the Learning Lounge, and y'all are going to be one of the featured Learning Lounge participants and speakers.
That's awesome.
That'll be great. But
We're excited about it.
The trade show, the education, and the camaraderie that is in that room, there's a lot of experience that's walking around, and it's about growing your network. And that is the most important thing for me, and that's what encouraged me to get involved with the APA. And it has helped make a large organization much smaller by having those personal relationships with one another.
Perfect. Well, we look forward to meeting you in person, and we're really excited. It's right around the corner.
Yeah, I know. Someone posted the other day, I think it was Stephanie, maybe, about, I'm going to APA, will you be there? And then Will, I think, said in the comments, it's only about 4 to 5 weeks away. And I was like, oh, shit.
4 to 5.
I got 4
not
to 5.
45.
Yeah, 4 to 5. And I was like, ooh, we got a lot that we got to finish up before then, because it's going to be here before we know it.
Yeah, literally. So, yeah, for sure.
But and then, I mean, again, same with Next Level. I'm excited about the kind of hanging out outside of the trade show as well, because then again, that's when you're a little bit more relaxed and you just get to hang out with people, and it always ends up you end up talking about lasers and work. Yeah,
you always talk about shop. Yep.
But those are the best conversations, because that's the only time you really get to see those people in person typically, and then also get to have that one-on-one conversation. So,
as I mentioned about relationships, if you're a new member and this is the first time that you have been to one of the conferences, there's a specific time that we can get together and you can ask those questions. Hey, what keeps you up at night? Or
Right.
how do you do this? Or what equipment supplier do you use for engraving or DTF or sandblasting or all that kind of thing? And you can sit around the table. If you want to go and have lunch with them or dinner,
Yeah.
it's easy to do. And that's one of the best things about the trade show is
Yeah.
all of the relationships that and the knowledge that can be shared over lunch, dinner, a cocktail,
Right.
walking down the trade show floor or between education segment. That's that's truly the nugget of the APA.
Yeah.
Is sharing the knowledge.
Well, and I realized joining, this is my first year being like a vendor member, or, I don't know the specific name of it, but I realized early on when I started getting those emails about, just, it was like, I think from the forum or something, people are asking questions of, hey, does anybody know a vendor for this? Does anybody know a vendor for this? Or I'm having this issue. Has anyone experienced this before? I was surprised how much conversation and help and support just happens behind the scenes, like all the time anyway, as being a member. So,
Right.
It just showed that that's, what you kind of like the base is. And this just really the APA, the Vegas just expands upon all of that.
Right.
So,
And this year we launched a new program called Link Pass. And it allows folks on an individualized basis to join at it's not a membership, it's more just access. And you can access the member to member. And from a retailer's perspective, I can be on the member to member forum and you can go in and pose a question, and it may not be something that you have ever dealt with in your industry or in your store or shop or wherever. And then you can go out there and go to this M2M, type in a question, and within just minutes, an expert will reply back to you and say, hey, I've dealt with that, or I ran across that problem or that issue, try this. And there are experts all across the industry from a supplier and a member standpoint that can answer those questions for you. And that is a very, very valuable tool you can pose any question. And it's not Google, it's literally
your people. Yeah.
Our people to our market, and they will know exactly how to resolve your question.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, just to finish it up, like anyone I've talked to who's been to APA before, they've either gone for years and years and years and years, and they're like, they have to go back every year if at all they can make it happen, or they newly went and now it's like their thing and they want people to go, as well. I met Megan as well. I think she's on the education board.
Yes.
She actually became one of our recent patrons. But just, I was nervous about what, the unknown of APA. And she was like, oh, we've been going for forever. You're going to love it. It's going to be amazing. I hear great things about people who have attended in the past. They always want to attend again, in the future. And like you said, it's kind of a non-negotiable for you. You go every year.
Oh, I will take people from our office out there.
Yeah. Nice.
So they can see what it is from a larger perspective. Because a lot of time, if the only thing that you ever see is out your own window, you're missing a whole lot of what our industry offers. You can see product. You can even see things that a vendor is selling that you didn't even know that they sell, whether it be a jig for a laser insert for your table. You may not know that they have access to that.
Yeah. So at Next Level, I met someone who made 3D printed jigs that I just didn't even consider or think about. And I was like, oh my God, yes, gimme.
That's right. And for example, you mentioned Megan.
Yeah.
Megan is a person I would never have met if it had not been for our industry.
Right.
She and her husband run a business in California. I'm in Tennessee, and we have connected through the APA at the trade show. And Megan is extremely active in the M2M forum, and
Nice.
she's got a wealth of knowledge from all of their years of service in their business in California. And people will ask a question, and she is Johnny on the spot and will go in there and answer those questions immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Perfect. Well, we'll let you run. You're about 3 minutes late to your meeting. And for everyone else, stay right there. The life update's coming up next. And we are back. Patrons, I'm sorry. We were on a time constraint.
Yeah.
There wasn't much there for not enough room for
there wasn't, and we could have talked
content.
to him longer, but we had a hard out, so
we didn't want to like
do.
short any. I mean, it's APA.
Yeah.
So technically, this episode was supposed to air on the 13th for general admission.
Yes, because we're adding that 10-day gap.
But given that it's APA and it's in February, it's at the beginning, we wanted to give people a month to plan ahead.
Yeah,
and
if you're on the fence about coming and,
hopefully,
you really want to come.
talking to Wilson kind of made your decision for you and gets you pumped to go.
Yep.
So we wanted to release that on time. So that therefore, there's not really an extended this episode, but they're coming. They're going to be there.
We try to include them in every single episode when we can, when the schedule allows.
Yeah, this time schedule did not allow, so there was no extended version, but there was a lot of good stuff there.
There was.
How's your foot?
And my knee.
And your knee. How's that going for you?
So if you didn't get a chance to attend the After Dark episode that we had last Friday, this will be not last Friday at this point, but at the recording, but whatever. If you weren't able to attend the last After Dark of the year, or if your algorithm didn't show you some of
the scenery
my
changed
posts
for that one, for that After Dark.
Yeah. So the day after Christmas, we were heading to the dinner table to eat dinner. And we did not have dinner. And so about 6 hours later.
We didn't, because someone here decided.
I decided to accidentally step on a toy fire truck, which, mind you, I called my doctor. Because I have a fancy doctor, and I called her, and I was trying to tell her what happened, and I told her I stepped on a fire truck, and she was so confused,
because fire trucks are normally
she was thinking
big.
like a regular fire truck. She was like, "Oh, a toy fire truck." Yes, I stepped on a toy fire truck, and my foot kind of got stuck, and
in the ladder,
it went flying, and so did I.
So did you.
And I spent quite a few minutes on the floor, moaning in pain. And then it was figuring out how the heck I was going to get up from the floor with a knee and a foot that said hell no to any weight being placed on it. So we spent the evening in the urgent care, making sure that things were not broken. Thankfully and not thankfully at the same time, things are not broken.
Nope.
But I have damaged some ligaments in my foot and my knee.
Yep.
So
it's going to be about a month of recovery time.
At least.
Yeah.
So I'm currently on crutches, but hopefully my doctor hopes that by the time I see her next week, that I can be off of those.
Right. Well, I mean, listen, we went from it happened on the 26th, right? So
I literally couldn't walk or put any weight on it on
the 27th or the 28th, we were on the couch doing the After Dark, and now here we are on what's today's date? Today's the 30th, and you're able to hobble into the studio.
Yes.
So
and I can actually put some weight on it.
Yeah.
It was not fun, but I was able to shower last night. And there weren't any times where he had to come in and rescue me, thankfully.
Nope, just had to pick up a few things that she dropped because she couldn't.
Well, because I couldn't move very well, and I grabbed the shampoo, and it slipped out of my hand because I was kind of like reaching, and I was just like, oh, God.
As soon as I heard it fall, I'm like, hey, I got it. Don't
don't drop soap.
Don't try to Yeah.
Yeah, drop the soap. But yeah, so I'm recovering. Recovery will be somewhat slow. But I'll be fine. There's worse things.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm glad that it's even more reason that I'm thankful for having a job like this. You know, my mom had asked me, I mean, just today she was checking on me and she was like, you know, are you going to be able to do the work that you need to do?
Right.
And thankfully, I mean, it's going to look different. But thankfully I can do most things I did before, just modified. So like right now my foot is propped up on a box. I have my crutches right there.
Yeah.
You know, I might not be standing the whole time at my fancy new super amazing shipping station, or using the standing desk immediately.
The standing option of the desk.
Which, I mean, I may, because honestly, the hardest part is sitting and standing up for me.
Well, and then also, too, the doctor said the worst thing you could do is not
use it.
The knee.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely no immobilization brace or anything like that, because sometimes it can do more harm than good. And so in my case, I need to, you know, use it within reason, moving it like, you know, 5 or so times, and then hopefully being able to move it more. So yeah, I'm glad that I have this luxury where, you know, it means I don't have to call in sick and not get paid, or call in sick and now they're like, oh, we really needed you, and now I'm inconveniencing someone. Really, the only people I'm inconveniencing right now are me and you. So mostly him.
Gotta do everything
Poor
for
guy
hobbles.
has been my assistant.
I'm not qualified to be a nurse.
You do a very good job.
Yeah, I'm not qualified. I didn't sign up for this job. I'm a video guy.
You are, but you're also a part-time nurse, and I appreciate
that whole sickness and health thing.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the health part.
Right? Hey, I'm fucking working on it, bro. Okay? I'm getting there, you know, but it's clearly
and then
2
we
steps
have
forward.
5. The baby Mira is sitting there unboxed on its stand.
Yeah, she's ready to
vented,
go.
Vented,
the
ready
cord
to go.
Comes today.
The what? Oh, the cord. Oh, that's right. Our new
longer USB cord comes. So we need to turn it on this week. Like we have to, even if that means
our grip is sitting there in the box.
Yes, we got to do an unboxing of that. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm irritated that our office reorganization project has kind of, it's been slower than planned, as it always is. I quote hired my neighbor's stepdaughter to help with getting inventory in order and all of that, and we actually were able to still do some stuff before and after I decided to hurt myself, but we had to cancel on her 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
The first week I had a foot procedure that's still going on, and then I decided to make it worse by falling on said foot. And then the second week, Jackson was sent home from daycare for being a literal asshole and spit on Santa. But then we realized that he was more of a jerk than he normally is. Likely because he had hand, foot, and mouth.
I think he used that as a crutch to be an asshole.
I'm going to say that too. As a parent, I'm using that as a crutch as well.
You're using a lot of crutches these days.
Unfortunately, that's accurate. But thankfully, it was a very mild episode from what I've seen online and heard otherwise. So we got really lucky.
When I Googled hand, foot, mouth, none of those pictures looked like Jackson.
No.
Thankfully.
Like they did if like you looked at the individual like marks, but the sheer amount and like he never had a fever. So we got lucky there, but I still did cancel because I didn't want to risk her getting it right before Christmas like we did. And then I fell on Thursday night, and she was supposed to come that weekend. So I really hope that we see her this weekend.
We'll see what happens this weekend.
But yeah, I'm ready to
Great
leave.
Start to the new year.
I got it out of the way in 2024.
True.
I'll still be recovering
in 25.
In 2025.
Yeah.
but I'm looking forward to, I know this is already 2025 for the people listening, but I'm looking forward to leaving the bullshit behind from 2024. Anything that, anything that you can throw into the bullshit category, I'm ready to leave it there. I'm ready for new fresh starts. I'm ready for new goals, new, like Wilson and quoted Will, I'm ready for focus.
I'm ready for the aliens.
Okay.
The drone aliens.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys.
2025.
He's ready for the aliens. What about work? What are you ready for work?
Doesn't matter because the aliens are coming.
Oh, shut up. But I mean, as you know, so we have recently kind of shared our new goals as far as the podcast and Riley Black is concerned. Mm-hmm. And we want the Riley Black Project to be the
household name.
The bulk of what we do for Riley Black. The rest of it will still be there. The courses will live on as long as they're still relevant. The keychain thingies will always, be selling those in some capacity. And what else do we do? Files. I'll do files here and there as it makes sense. If I make something, then I'll release the file. Mm-hmm. So, content and all that stuff, that'll all still be there. But for the most part, we're leaning into the podcast. And so we're going to
spend more time and
we're going to be focusing on that more. Like just, okay, if I'm adding inventory to keychain thingies, is it something that's really going to be beneficial to the product line? Or am I just adding it because it's cute? Like I'm thinking about the podcast even when making course decisions, when making, product and inventory decisions and all of that. Yeah. So, and literally happened right before the podcast recording, we found out that we are going to Podfest also in January.
So more. We left last Podfest with so much information and
so much information.
Ways to make the show better. So we hope to come back with even more this year.
Right.
And just find different in networking at Podfest and at APA, finding people that like relate to the industry that are kind of different that maybe you wouldn't hear from elsewhere, or you they wouldn't come across, your algorithm or whatever. To make it more beneficial. The whole point of our show here is to make it worth you guys watching and to bring value. And, we love hearing the stories.
Right.
We love hearing everyone's stories of how they came up and where they're at. And hopefully this year there's a lot of follow-up as well. People like in their first year and what has changed in their business. But also bring, like different industries that still work hand in hand like we have in the past. Like we did with Katie, our tax prepper and stuff and stuff like that. And what was her name? We met her at Podfest. She was another financial.
Oh, Rachel.
Yeah. Yeah. So more things like that. People that maybe you don't think of.
Right. And just trying to expand, just trying to have, some quality guests and provide more value to you guys and just keep doing.
And if there's someone you want to hear from,
let us know.
Reach
We're
out.
always
Let us
open
know.
to suggestions.
Maybe there's someone you guys want to hear about that maybe they're not on our algorithm.
Yeah.
Or we just haven't thought about reaching out to them.
Yeah. Yeah. And initially we were kind of on the fence about Podfest, because last year we got so much, but we did kind of see that like we were ahead of a lot of people who were there. Right. It felt like it solidified that we were on the right track and that we were doing things well, but there was still a ton of things that we could add. And even though we knew like we had a lot more like downloads or views than a lot of the people, at least that we interacted in our area, but there was still so much that we could learn.
Right.
And we were going to get free tickets from our podcast host Buzzsprout, and we missed the window.
Yeah,
because we were in Colorado. I needed to get to a desktop, didn't get to one in time, and then Taimata, who we met last year at the Podfest and may have a really great relationship with now. She's going, and she asked, you know, hiccups, yawns. All right.
They took a while this time.
She asked if we were going, and I was like, "Oh, I think we missed the window." And the tickets are really expensive. I mean, they're on par with they're actually the same as Next Level. So they're on par with large conferences, right? So I will say though, no shade at Podfest. You get a lot more for your ticket price for Next Level. That's literally the same price. There's no food and stuff included in the $3.99 price tag for Podfest.
There's not.
So anyway, we didn't want to spend $800 just for the tickets, let alone, hotel and leaving Nino with these gremlins.
Yeah.
And so we wouldn't be going unless we got the tickets for free. So I decided to reach out to them and was like, hey, I know it looks like I missed the deadline.
Right.
Is there any chance there's any leftover? And they're like, nope, so sorry. Looks like we've given out every single last one.
Worries.
And I'm like, all right, no worries. Thank you guys for being an awesome host. I really appreciate you. I won't miss the deadline next year. And, we'll go on. And it was almost like a relief because January is already so busy.
Yeah. I mean, we have to get ready for APA.
Right. And so
luckily we don't have to take thingies with us to Podfest.
Right. Yes. But January is already crazy. Like now we have Podfest, and then you have that project with a local podcast company,
Remodel.
and then we leave that following weekend for a Sacramento meetup. And so
if you're in the Sacramento area,
yes, definitely come.
When is it? Saturday,
February 1st.
February 1st.
Yeah. So, but now that we got the free tickets and we are going, I'm actually really excited about it because,
same.
I was telling him when we were deciding on if we should go or not, with our goal being podcast number 1, everything else falls in line after that. And knowing how much we got from last year, that it will still be beneficial for us to go this year and hear about things that we haven't heard about or that we didn't think about that we implemented even this year that helped our podcast grow. So look for those opportunities in whatever industry it is that you do. If it's awards, look for those awards places and things like ISA and APA, and look for those because you can see technology, services, products that you never would have crossed paths with otherwise, and they really can take your business to the next level. What is that? It's probably a package. The doorbell's going off. My doctor called while we were doing this.
Oh, that's what it was?
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm excited about the year.
Totally a package.
And we hear him driving off now. But lean into that and grow your business and make those connections with people because they really are beneficial. I often, if I ever need support or help on something, I'll submit the support ticket while I wait. Right? And then I go ask my friends and I ask my network and I talk to people. Have you experienced this? Do you know what this is? Have you ever had this happen before? Any idea what could be happening? Having that network of people is so beneficial to help you find a product, problem solve, all the things. Yeah. And hey, just someone to relate and bitch about this customer or this, this product or this project didn't turn out how you thought it was going to, or deadlines, or being exhausted, or working for yourself, all of that stuff. Just having that community is just so freaking important. Yeah. So go find that in APA Next Level. Ooh, and Next Level tickets are out.
Oh, that's right. Next Level's out.
They've been released. Some of the speaker list has been released.
We'll be there.
Yes. So won't be a speaker.
That might have got us in trouble.
I want to bleep that. I won't be a speaker. We
you
might
combined
be on
2 slurs there.
Definitely bleep that out, please. Because no, My brain is a little fried and it's making up things. What the fuck was I talking about? So I'm not a speaker, but we might be on a panel. We might be in that kind of
We will be recording the podcast live.
We'll be recording a live podcast. And then
this time you'll be able to hear us.
Yes, we will have sound system and a PA so that you can actually hear us and you're not just sitting there supporting us, wondering what the heck we're saying.
Yeah.
And I'll be teaching, I think, 2 classes or something like a breakout session that will happen twice.
Okay.
So, I'm looking forward to it. Last year, this year, whatever, was amazing. Yes, keychain things will be there as well. And I'm really excited about all the things.
Yeah. Me too. And the tours that are, the meetups leading up to. Yeah, so it's gonna be awesome. With all that said, it's been a great first episode of the year. 2025, y'all. Let's make it a good one. It's been another great episode of the Riley Black Project. Crystal and John.
Bye.
Maybe we're all done.